welcome to the Tuniverse. This is a take two because my audio got all messed up during my live stream, so this is a reshoot, re-edit, whatever you want to call it. As I explained in that, I don't do many reactions because I want to make sure that I'm knowledgeable on what I'm speaking about. This is not in defense of Disney, nor is it in defense of current Star Wars, but more of in defense of the lore. I don't like the current Star Wars. I don't like what Disney's done with it. They've had maybe 2 hits since Disney's taken over, and that was Rogue One and the first season of The Mandalorian. The second season was meh. The third season has really not been very good at all. Obiwankenobi was terrible. Book of Boba Fett, terrible. The sequel trilogy, terrible. Solo, terrible. So this is not in defense of Disney, nor is it in defense of the current state of Star Wars. This is this video is by Gem Reviews, and we're gonna see what he has to say.
So I want to say I'm trying really hard to not be so critical, to see the light at the end of the tunnel. But what is this shit, really? What is this? This is a Hosha or a Kosha. I mean,
once again, I've said, and this might get long-winded. This entire video might be long-winded, so for that I apologize. If you don't know the lore and you don't know the characters, at least do a little bit of research before you start bashing on something. Because if you don't know, you don't know. It's Ahsoka. She's been around since the Clone Wars, since before Disney, back when Dave Filoni and George Lucas still had control of the product. Now, I have my own opinions on Ahsoka, and my own opinions on her hero's journey, but we'll let him go and see what he has to say.
Anyway, this is new Disney Star Wars crap. We have an empowered female there. We have another empowered female there. She's going to be beating all of these robots or guys or whatever the hell these... There's another female alien there. There's another one here. It's 4, 5, 6.
Okay, so all of these are characters that were established before Disney took over. All of them. He doesn't even know their names. So we're going to back this up just a little bit.
New Disney Star Wars crap. We
That's
have
Sabine
an
Wren,
empowered female
Mandalorian
there. We have another empowered
Ahsoka
female there. She's going to be beating all of these robots or guys or whatever the hell these... There's another
Hera,
female
Chopper,
alien.
the white-bearded guy, which he's going to get to later, might possibly be Ezra. This might be Mara Jade. It was said in the trailer, Heir to the Empire, which, by the way, if you haven't read the books, Heir to the Empire, some of the best Star Wars material out there. There's three books. They're absolutely amazing. Heir to the Empire should have been the sequel trilogy that we got, and not the crap that Disney gave us. Okay, let's be fair here. The stuff that Disney gave us was crap. What we should have got was Heir to the Empire. We didn't get it. It sucks. I know it sucks, but what do I know? I'm just some small YouTuber that, does mostly Star Citizen content.
There's another one here. It's 4, 5, 6. It's a world of women, probably most of them lesbians.
Probably most of them lesbians. Once again, if you don't know the lore, then you shouldn't speak upon it. Ahsoka has never had her sexuality explored. The only thing that was ever explored, as far as emotions are considered, is her relationship between herself and Anakin, and herself and Obi-Wan, and a couple of the other Jedis. The relationship that her and Anakin had was almost like brother-sister, or you know, that deep felt camaraderie that people get during wartime. Sabine, I looked it up before I did the reaction just so I could be in the know. As far as I know, unless I missed an article that came out recently, it has never been confirmed or denied that she is lesbian. Does that mean that Disney is going to take advantage of this and make her a lesbian or make Ahsoka a lesbian? Yeah, probably, and that's unfortunate. But once again, I'll either watch it for myself and determine this, or I'll watch from a trusted reviewer. Gem Reviews might have a few good videos here and there that I agree with. Mostly they're Star Citizen. But I'm sorry, I can't trust somebody that doesn't know the lore of Star Wars to review a show or a movie for me and then take his word for it.
Based on what we've seen from Disney recently, and this is it. This is why all of this shit sucks so much. This is why they're damn gone, and there's no hope. There's no hope for these people. Look at this. We have a middle-aged lady, which is, of course, the only kind of leader you could possibly have, because we all know that women are always better than men and men are all stupid. Then you have another Asian lady, and there's a guy here, but he has to be black, and then you have another guy here, but he has to be Asian, and you have a weird alien thing there.
Okay. Disney Star Wars is crap. But let's back up to when George Lucas had it. It's always been pretty diverse. Yeah, you could argue that the 77 release or A New Hope or Episode 4, whatever you want to call it, was pretty white. After that, it's always been extremely diverse. Am I saying this in defense of woke culture? No, I'm not. You had Lando, he was black. Now let's go down to the alien representation. Oh, and you had Timo Morrison, who is the clone slash Boba slash Django. He's what, Hawaiian, Samoan, something like that. Guy's awesome. He's hilarious. Watch some of his interviews. He's absolutely hilarious. And then the aliens. The aliens have always been a part of the Star Wars universe. They've always been represented in the Star Wars universe, whether it was in the cantina scene or some of the main characters, such as Yoda, Chewbacca, Jar Jar, for as much as I hate him. They've all been there since the very beginning. All of them. So let's not act like this is some brand new thing that Disney just came up with on a whim to get rid of white men. That has nothing to do with that. And this lady in the middle, I'm not 100%, but that just might be Mon Mothma, who once again was the leader of the Rebel Alliance during the Galactic Civil War. She was showcased in Return of the Jedi, Rogue One. She's the leader. And in the books, 30 years ago, she was the leader of the New Republic. Not Princess Leia, Mon Mothma. Once again, if you don't know the lore or you're not knowledgeable on it, I really don't think that you should be speaking on behalf of it. If you want to argue numbers and ratings, that's fine. Argue the numbers and the ratings. But don't come on here and act like you're doing the world a favor by speaking on things you have no knowledge of.
You cannot have a normal ass white guy, because those things don't exist anymore. The only role a white guy can play is being an evil piece of shit, and that's it.
Oh, look, Thrawn. Once again, from Heir to the Empire. He's an alien. Something that the Imperials, or the Empire, absolutely hated and never had any use for. Most of the time they were used for slave labor. But here's Thrawn, a Chiss, tactical genius, by far one of the deepest and best written villains the Star Wars universe has ever had. And if you know anything about writing, you can't have a good story and you can't have a good protagonist if the bad guy, the main villain, is crap. If you have a good villain or a great villain, It elevates the story and the protagonist. It makes it better because then there's actual stakes involved. Thrawn was one of those characters. He was a tactical genius. He was deep. He was probably one of the best written bad guys the Star Wars universe has had for a long time. And probably since George Lucas. Yes, I know this is the books, but fantastic writing.
That's the only role possible for a man. A man can only be scum. And that's what these lesbians over at Disney... they fired the last lesbian in Disney. I was hating men like a lunatic. But they still have plenty of them. And it is so damn... There you go. It's George Clooney. Who the hell is this? Anyway.
It's possibly Ezra, or if they're going the actual heir to the Empire line, it could be Jorah Kaboth. Once again, please don't take anything I'm saying as a defense of Disney. I don't like what Disney is doing to Star Wars. But once again, let's not speak on lore if you don't know jack about it.
Anyway, it is so tiring. It is so boring because it's so fucking predictable all the time. They always do the same thing. There again, green lady, black guy, fish.
Okay. Green lady, Hera, established character from Star Wars Rebels. Did I watch all of Star Wars Rebels? I did not. I watched what was considered the essential watching guide to Star Wars Rebels, and I watched those episodes. Now, random black guy in the corner there. I don't understand why he's so upset about this. He's some random lieutenant or captain or whatever in the Rebel or New Republic Navy. It's not like he was race swapped. If we're going to talk race swapping or gender swapping, yeah, I'll be upset about it. I'd be upset if they took, I don't know, let's say Wolverine and made him a black female, or if they took Luke Cage and made him a bald white guy. I'd have a problem with it. Pre-established lore is pre-established lore, and you don't mess around with that sort of stuff. And Fish Boy on the left, that he called him. Did you not watch the original trilogy? Probably one of the most beloved characters in the original Star Wars trilogy is Admiral Akbar. Dude's a boss. If you go on and you read the comics and the novels, the dude is a tactical genius. Is he on the level of Thrawn? No, he's not, but he's still a tactical genius. He's one of the best that the Alliance or the New Republic had. And it was terrible what Disney did to him in The Last Jedi, where they killed him off screen, basically. Terrible. Fan favorite character killed off screen. Terrible move, Disney. Terrible move. This just is, I'm sorry. If it's a hot take to be a hot take, Jem, cool. If you honestly believe this, I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry.
Okay, I'm hooked. Take my money. I want to see this shit because I'm sure it's great. I'm sure women are always better than men in physical combat, at war. If I see any war footage, I always see men being beaten the crap out of by women because women are always better, stronger, and just, yeah, it's just basic nature. Women are stronger at fighting than men. Don't these people know anything? I'm sure they do. They just don't care.
Okay, I'll give them this. Women are generally not found on the front lines of war. Has it happened a few times in history? Yes. The Russians had female snipers. I believe the Finns did as well during the Winter War against the Russians during World War II. Do I believe the whole, like Battlefield 5 did a few years ago with, ginger English woman with cyberpunk robot arm doing amazing sniper shots in the trailer? No, I don't. Do I believe the show Vikings, where every female in the show was a shield maiden? No, I don't. I think and you guys can correct me in the comments if I'm wrong, I do believe they've only found one or two shield maiden graves in the burial mounds that they've excavated. Women are not found on the front line. But if you want to talk Star Wars and you want to talk strong females, You had Princess Leia, only blasted her way out of the Death Star. Padme Amidala, strong leader, both politically, and she blasted her way out of the arena in Episode 2 in Attack of the Clones. And now let's talk Ahsoka. I for sure know a lot about Ahsoka. She is a fantastic female warrior, one of the best in the show, but she still lost repeatedly and had to have a big, strong male come and rescue her. And Anakin, Plo Koon, Obi-Wan, Mace, Yoda, they all took turns rescuing her. So let's not act like this is something that's brand new and Disney did this just to piss a bunch of people off. This has already been pre-established lore. I'll get to it later. I have my own opinions on Ahsoka. But let's not act like, I'm trying to find the right words here. This goes back to saying, if you don't know the lore, if you don't have knowledge on a subject, then don't speak on it. If you want to talk numbers and tell me that The Mandalorian sucks because look at the ratings, then I'll eat that. The Mandalorian has not been good since season 1. Season 2 was meh. Season 3 has really not been very good at all. It's not. Especially with the last episode with Jack Black and Lizzo. Those two were so out of place in Star Wars. Some people might argue that it being quirky and weird is completely within Star Wars. Yeah, that might be true, but it was still not good. It was so out of place.
This is the BlackRock crap, gender, LGBT positive bullshit reinforcement, and all of this
I don't know where he gets the LGBTQ positive reinforcement from this trailer. Once again, will I watch it? Eventually. Will I watch a few other reviewers and their opinions upon it? Yes. Trusted reviewers. Jem, you haven't earned that trust yet.
White guy that is destroying entertainment. I mean, they're going to be fine. Well, let's not worry about Disney going bankrupt. No, they have plenty of money to pull this crap for generations to come. There's just nothing worth watching. That's the biggest regret. I mean, it's the same everywhere you look at. I mean, and don't they get it? No one believes this for a second. No one finds this entertaining. We don't like this. We don't watch this. You know we don't watch it. You know that you're only going to be losing money with this turd. And you do it anyway. Okay? And, okay, congratulations. Slow clap the shit out of you because you know how this ends up. You know why no one cares? Because no one believes you. No one believes you because this is not true. And it's nothing even remotely similar to reality. You know, it's the same.
It's Star Wars. It's not supposed to be remotely similar to reality. And I'll go back again to established lore. It's very easy to see or hear in his voice that he has probably never watched Star Wars outside of the movies and the Disney Plus TV shows. It sucks for a casual to come in and deal with Star Wars because there is so much lore in the movies, Clone Wars, Rebels, Bad Batch, the new Disney crap, the books, the comics. It's a tough thing to jump into. Am I saying that we're gatekeeping? No, I'm not. Just know the lore before you start speaking on things that are not true. Once again, what he said about the shows being crap and not entertaining, he's not wrong. Obi-Wan was crap. Book of Boba Fett was crap. 2 seasons of Mandalorian. First one was good. 2 and 3, not so good. The sequel trilogy, terrible. Solo, terrible. They've had 2 hits, Rogue One and Mandalorian Season 1, and Rogue One was only good because they actually had high stakes in there and characters died. I've yet to see Disney pull that one off.
Same thing like with the
outside of Rogue One.
World Cup, the Football World Cup. Oh yeah, the female American team won the football. No one gave a damn because no one watches because it's fucking boring. So you can win 1,000 World Cups of female football and no one will ever care. You will have no one watching that shit. Now the men's World Cup, yeah, it's gonna be record breaking, heart stopping, world event. World sporting event of a generation. But that's not the case when you have women doing it because it's not as much fun. Why? Because women are not as fast as men. They don't have the same reflexes as men. They're not as strong as men. And they're less capable at physical intense stuff than men. So it's great if you have a strong female leader. I mean, we used to have that in Star Wars. Princess Leia was a fucking princess. She was a political leader. Those things do exist in the real world. You have
but when Mon Mothma does it, when you pointed it out 2 minutes ago, 3 minutes ago in this, it was trash. But Princess Leia is okay. Once again, this goes back to speaking on established lore. You can't crap on one while elevating the other when they were both in the same frickin' movies. They were both in the same books, the comics, so on and so forth. You can't have it both ways, bud.
Have prime ministers, presidents that are women. You don't have fucking women fighting wars and beating guys, let alone in hand-to-hand combat.
Ahsoka's a Jedi. Mandalorians are trained basically like Spartans from damn near birth to fight. So once again, established lore. Ahsoka isn't the most all-powerful Jedi in the universe. That usually goes to guys like Anakin, Mace Windu. Oh no, a black guy being one of the most powerful Jedis on the planet. It must be some of that Disney wokeness. Oh wait, I forgot. George Lucas wrote that. Established lore. If you don't have the knowledge, don't speak on it. This is one of the reasons why I don't do many reactions, because I want to make sure that I know the knowledge. I have the knowledge of what I'm speaking on, so I don't sound like an idiot.
We don't buy it. We don't believe it. We don't find that entertaining because it is so detached from reality. And
you know what? I'm going to speak on his football analogy. I'll give him that. Not many people watch the Women's World Cup compared to the men. Okay? Most men in the US, that is, really only watch I'll call it the big three in female sporting events. That's MMA, the UFC, whatever you want to call it, MMA, Lingerie Football League, which I don't even know if that's still going anymore, and the women's in WWE. That's about all the men will watch. Why? Because what he said was true. Women are not strong, they're not fast, they don't have the reflexes like men do. And if you want to see a clear-cut case in point, just watch the WNBA or the highlights of a WNBA game. It's very in your face. Am I saying that women shouldn't have their own sports? No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that it's never going to be as popular as the men's sports. It's just true. That's a fact. It's just never going to happen. It's not. But in the US, as I said, men generally watch the big three: Lingerie Football League, MMA, and women's WWE wrestling. That's about it. So I'll give them that.
Pull it to such a point where you don't have just one. No, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All of them. All of them are strong women. All girl bosses. Damn skinny little 40-pound anorexic girl there. She's the boss lady. It is so stupid and it's so fucking boring that I cannot bear it anymore. And you probably can't either. See you on the next one.
Okay, he's done. So now I'm going to go on my Ahsoka rant. When Ahsoka was first introduced to Star Wars: The Clone Wars TV show, I did not like her. I didn't like the fact that Anakin had an unspoken Padawan that we never heard about during the movies that took place during the same time and after the Clone Wars, I did not like it. I thought it was lore breaking. I was not a fan. She, after her introduction, I think it was about 3 or 4 episodes in, she's considered a general within the Clone Wars, which I don't understand why they automatically gave Jedi the general moniker immediately in the Clone Wars. Was it because they were Jedi? Yeah, probably. She leads a strike force, a wing of, I think they're called Arc Fighters from the Clone War era that predate the X-Wings, to go and fight against the Capital class cruiser and somehow break a blockade or something like that. I can't remember the exact details. Anakin and Obi-Wan are telling her to get out of there, and she continues to press the fight, and she ends up getting all but 1 or 2 of her men killed. And it breaks her because she knew she was wrong in what she did. Later on, she loses a few fights, saber fights, to, I don't remember exactly in order or who exactly they all were, but to Grievous, to Dooku, to Asajj, and her character gets completely beaten down over the next season or so, maybe 2 seasons. And then Obi-Wan, Anakin, Mace, Yoda, and especially Plo Koon slowly build her back up. And throughout the rest of the Clone Wars, she makes mistakes. She has failures. And has to get built back up again. Like in a good hero's journey should be. The reason why Star Wars fans didn't like Rey was because she shows up on the scene, immediately knows how to use the Force with no training, immediately gets into a lightsaber fight with Kyloren, who, I'm not defending Disney Star Wars, but who gets into a fight with Kyloren, who's supposedly trained by the most badass Jedi in the last 2-3 generations of Jedi, in Luke Skywalker, who beat Darth Vader, who's also Anakin Skywalker, one of the best swordsmen in the Star Wars universe. And Kylo loses in 5.5 minutes to Rey without her breaking a sweat. It was ridiculous, it was stupid, and it should have never have been done. If you wanted to do the sequel trilogy, you should have done Heir to the Empire. Now, if you weren't going to do Heir to the Empire, then give us Finn, the stormtrooper, former stormtrooper, now turned Jedi. That would have been an amazing story, especially if in the 2nd or 3rd movie he could have rallied stormtroopers against the First Order. That would have been awesome. I would have been much happier with that route than the Rey Skywalker Palpatine crap that we got in the sequel trilogy. It was terrible, it was stupid, and it should have never been done. But like I said, this is not in defense of Disney. This is in defense of the lore. If you don't know the lore, don't speak on it. Just don't. In one of his previous videos, he goes on and on and on about how Bo-Katan is the big boss woman, and she's now in charge of the Mandalorian. I agree with him to a point. I was really hoping that Din was going to take up the mantle of leader of Mandalore. It seems as though that's not going to happen. But to sit there and say Bo-Katan is the boss lady and just kind of, well, she did kind of kick Mando out of his own show, but it's also pre-established lore. Bo-Katan is the rightful heir, if you want to go by family lineage. She's the rightful heir of Mandalore, not Din. Do I like what they're doing? No, I don't. Is Bo-Katan just running around beating everybody's ass? Not really. I mean, she took out Axe Wolves, but once again, in lore, it's been established that her training versus Axe is far superior, and she's been involved in far many fights than Axe. But, you know, once again, that's lore. Did I like the fight scene between her and Axe in the Mandalorian Season 3? No, it was pretty crap. It really was. I would have much rather have seen Din and Bo go at it over the darksaber. That would have been a risky move and a challenging move. and something that Star Wars fans probably would have loved a lot more than some crap fight between Bo and Axe. I really don't know what to say here more, other than, as I've said a million times in this, if you don't know or don't have knowledge about something, then don't speak on it. It's as simple as that. If you wanted to argue ratings, rating drop-offs, the critics, the writing, any of that, I would have let him go. But to sit here and bash on pre-established Star Wars lore written by Dave Filoni and George Lucas 20 years, almost 20 years before Disney took over, come on, man. Come on. That's going to do it for me. I'm Scarred Citizen. Thanks for joining the Tooniverse. Like and subscribe if you like this kind of stuff. I mostly do Star Citizen content, branching out into several other games. Come on over, check us out. We like having good fun. Everybody gives me a hard time when I play video games because sometimes I do good and sometimes I suck it up. And sometimes we just deal with the bugs, especially when playing Star Citizen. So come on by, check it out. Please like, sub. And with that, so long, and thank you for all the fish. Have a good one.